Hello there. Right, we can talk about this Man of Steel sequel properly now. So, with the internet, it's always hard to gauge what's true and what's not. There was an announcement yesterday at the Warner Brothers panel that Man of Steel 2 is confirmed and it will be a Superman versus Batman movie. Basically, Batman will be involved in this movie, which of course is extremely exciting for all of us geeks. It's exciting for pure Superman fans, and it's exciting for Batman fans. Of course it is. Now, of course, the Dark Knight trilogy is finished, so this is Batman's been rebooted. What an interesting, unique way and brave way for Warner Brothers to reboot Batman by inserting him in the Man of Steel sequel. It's undone. When you look at what Marvel have done, they set up their individual movies, then they did Avengers. But one thing I've always been happy about since watching Man of Steel, that we weren't going to do things the Marvel way. The Marvel world is extremely different to the DC world, and you cannot go about things the same way. I know a lot of people say, oh, we've got to do what Marvel do. No, doing that is suicidal. So I'm really happy with what was done in Man of Steel. And now the sequel with Batman being involved is very intriguing, very interesting. But we must remember, and I think especially for Batman fans, really important for you to understand that this is the Man of Steel sequel. So as exciting as Batman being involved is, I've heard some kind of comments about the symbol with the S-shield being over the bat symbol. Well, that's obvious. This is a Superman movie with Batman in it. That's as simple as that. But this is the first chapter of Team Up. This is the first chapter of getting all the DC characters together. And as I said on my other video last night, which was pretty dark, sorry about that, the lighting wasn't great because it was night time. So you Americans, of course, it was during the day, you were excited. But unfortunately, and I live in a shared house, so I had to quickly rush it. But now I can do it properly because I think the place is empty, although I'm not sure about that. But anyway, getting back to this awesome news. So, yeah, this is a Superman movie, and that's important. But it is exciting that Batman's going to be in it. But what's more exciting is we don't know what we're going to get from this Batman in Man of Steel because it's going to be a new version of the character. Will they use some stuff from the Dark Knight trilogy? We pretty much know that Bale's not going to be involved, so that's a given. I loved Christian Bale as Batman. I would have had a geek boner if he was back, but I'm happy for a new guy to take the challenge, but it has to be the right guy. And I hear so much crap bandied about in the bullshit net, you know, which is what I call the internet, which getting big name after big name. It's really important that this Batman is played by an unknown. I think we saw what happened when Clooney played Batman. Totally messed up. Alright, the movie wasn't written particularly well or done particularly well, but George Clooney was never Batman. And that is the issue with getting someone as known as George Clooney. Now, it worked with Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton was known back then, but he wasn't a big player. But not everyone knew who Michael Keaton was. But a lot of people knew him from Beetlejuice and other things. But he wasn't. But it worked. And I think Michael Keaton was an excellent Batman. And the best two, I think the best three Batman films I've seen, personally, the ones that I've enjoyed the most are, Batman Returns, Batman Begins, and The Dark Knight. They're the best ones that I've seen. I've enjoyed the others, but they're the three that stand out. I think they got the guy who played the soldier from Man of Steel to the quote from the Dark Knight Returns. The Dark Knight Returns. And I think so. We're all assuming now it's going to be based on that. It can't really be based on anything apart from what they've done in Man of Steel. It has to continue from Man of Steel, and then you insert Batman in like that. If they call it Batman versus Superman, and I'm not quite sure if they're sure about the title yet. Obviously, then you know what it's going to be about, because when they obviously first meet, maybe they're not going to like each other, and there will be a fight. I think obviously. Eventually they'll get to accept each other. Not totally, there'll be animosity there, but they'll become a team. And of course I really agree with what they're doing. A lot of people yesterday were bandying about nonsense about the Flash being announced and the Justice League movie being announced. it looks to me that David S. Goyer and Zack Snyder want to deal with this personally themselves. They don't want to start getting other directors and other writers involved, and you get the too many cooks spoil the broth situation, don't you? I mean, of course we want to see all these individual films as quick as possible, and who knows, I could be wrong. They might start banding about other people to make the other individual movies, but it does look to me that Zack and David want to do this themselves. And the first chapter of that will be the Man of Steel sequel, Batman, Superman versus Batman, let's get it right. So now we can now look forward to it. The build-up began yesterday when this was announced, and we can all start having these amazing, crazy theories on what's going to happen, and will anyone else from Batman's world be introduced to this? I think there's so many things that have to happen in this movie because it's a continuation of Man of Steel, and although Batman will be involved, there has to be that, well, that's happened now. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, you guys read the comics. I don't. I'm a Superman fan from Superman the movie, and that's how I fell in love with the character. I love Batman. I've seen the movies. I loved the 60s TV show. It was camp and all of that, but it was fun to watch. But that's how I first met Batman. He's an awesome character. I love all the superheroes. I love the geek world. But there's so many things you can do with this film that the only two people who really know is Zack Snyder and David S. Goyer. I'm really kind of excited to hear from them in the future, to hear what they're planning. But I think the first step is to cast Batman. To cast Batman and to cast Lex Luthor. I think they're the two big players in this movie now. This now, I mean, you can imagine being Disney. I mean, you can actually probably hear Mickey Mouse trying to hang himself. I mean, this is massive now because Star Wars Episode 7 will be released in 2015, and now we know that Man of Steel 2 will be released in 2015 as well. I'm not too sure about when the Avengers 2 is released. I don't know if it's 2015 or if it's the year after. I don't think Avengers 2 is 2015 because that will be a lot, and in the end you start to slice each other's throat. I mean, we talk about the competition against Warner Brothers and Disney. It's really important for me because Disney are a giant, and it's like Disney are the elephant and Warner Brothers are the ant. Now, no one's saying Warner Brothers are a small fry. They're a massive company, but to compare to the power of Disney now, with all the fingers in different pies, Warner Brothers are an ant now, and Disney are an elephant. And it's, as I said, from the moment they got the Marvel properties and the Star Wars property, I said the only company that can fight them and stop them dominating the whole market is Warner, which is true. They have the rights to all these amazing characters. I'm sure Harry Potter will return in some form in film in the next 2 or 3 years as well. That will be a big weapon for Warner Brothers against them, but they will have to develop more properties as well, because Disney now, by having the Marvel characters and having Star Wars, is like having the biggest 60-inch blade and basically Warner Brothers having a little penknife, if I could give you that comparing it like that. So I think Warner Brothers are now standing up and saying, we're doing this. We're going to develop all the DC properties, but although we want to get a Superman Man of Steel sequel out as soon as possible by 2015, that's fine. That's not rushing it. That's not over-egging the pudding. That's 2 years. They've got time, and plus, I'm sure Zack Snyder and David S. Goyer had loads of ideas and developed for a sequel while they were doing Man of Steel anyway. So I'm obviously really excited. It's kind of a head rush because you know what it's like, Comic-Con season, you get all this rush of information, and what I do is, I mean, on Facebook and Twitter, which you can follow me on Twitter, Geektastic555, Mick Meanus on Facebook, add me and follow me if you want. I don't post everything about everything. I mean, I just post about the stuff that means something to me, because I think in the end, I think you're just posting about crap, especially about stuff that I'm not particularly passionate about. So this to me now, I don't care what anything else is announced at Comic-Con. My favourite character, Superman, is back in the Man of Steel sequel with Batman, who is my second favourite superhero. He's amazing, but Superman's my man. And, you know, this is really, really exciting now. And as I say, the two exciting bits of news we want to hear next is who's going to play Batman and who's going to play Lex Luthor, because I'm convinced Lex will be in it. You've already seen my video that Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex in Smallville, should play him in Man of Steel 2. Probably won't happen, but I would absolutely like it to. So I think we've covered all the bases. Warner Brothers and DC now are clenching their fists. We're ready for the fight with Disney. And now, two things to look forward to as well. The release of Man of Steel on Blu-ray, which I will wear it out watching that. And the build up and looking forward to this sequel to the best superhero movie I've ever seen. One of the best action adventures, imagination, if you're talking about fantasy movies I've ever seen, and it's been done with my favourite character, so I'm so proud. So, anything to say? Down below, you can say what you want. I won't attack you. We will talk again. Have a lovely Sunday. See ya.